Happy Thursday, late afternoon, early evening, after work, after school story, after cleanup. Yay! When Wilma Rudolph played basketball. Wilma Rudolph became a great American athlete. But do you know what she was like as a child? From battling polio to playing basketball, Wilma was a determined and strong child. Her strength and determination played an important part in her life and her ability to achieve greatness as a U.S. Olympic track and field star. What do you have determination and strength in this evening? Maybe you are spent, maybe you are tired, maybe you are overwhelmed. Hold on. Refill your resilience because you have more in you than you realize. All right, this is by Mark Weekland, and I'm sure he's not weak. And illustrated by Daniel Duncan. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness, these are tiny words. I hope I can read all of this. During the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome, Italy, a young woman took her place next to the other runners at the starting line. The gun fired with a pop. Wilma Rudolph, a runner from the United States, surged forward. She was She was all power and fluid motion. Yep, there she is. 11 seconds later, Wilma crossed the finish line first. She had won the gold medal in the women's 100-meter dash. It was the moment Wilma had imagined. What are you imagining for your life this evening or this upcoming summer? We hear a lot about visualization. Well, she pictured this moment. She was no longer the sickest girl in Clarksville, Tennessee. She was the fastest woman in the world. How about that? To go from a sickly young lady to strongest, swiftest one. Oh, sorry about that. But you know what? She turned her talent into great things. And in the background, we're listening to Cyrus Chestnut, the happiness man. Yeah, looked like her family was happy. It says Wilma Rudolph was born June 23rd, 1940. Ooh, if she would still be alive, oh, there I go. In a couple of weeks, she would have had another birthday. Let's see, turning 83 years old. 1940. She was the 20th, did you say 20th child? In a family of 22 children? I did not know that. Because she was born almost 2 months early, Wilma was a tiny baby. She weighed just a little more than 4 pounds. Yep. Wilma's parents didn't know then that Wilma would one day become famous. Isn't this wonderful? What a big family. Did I read that right? I didn't realize that. She was the 20th. So she was in the younger set. How fun. Wilma was an energetic baby. Yeah. But her early birth caused health problems. Wilma became sickly after her first year. By the time she was 4 years old, she had suffered through chicken pox and pneumonia, whooping cough, and scarlet fever. I could say I had chicken pox in high school. I might have had scarlet fever. I think I might have had pneumonia in one lung before. Woo! But not all at once. My goodness. Not before the age of 4. In the 1940s, racial discrimination made it hard for Black people to get good medical care. So Wilma's mother cared for her at home. She piled on blankets and made hot drinks to help cure Wilma's illnesses. Wilma complained about her mother's remedies. All these blankets make me sweat, she said, and your medicine tastes awful. But she was a good doctor, wasn't she? I her mom have 22 children? I don't know. Wilma eventually recovered from her illnesses, but something else was wrong. Wilma's mother took her to the doctor. After finishing his examination, oh my goodness, that looks like my real pediatrician, Dr. Clay Henry Jones. He looked like Dr. Jones. The doctor spoke to Wilma's mother. "I'm sorry, Blanche," he said. "Your daughter has polio." The polio left Wilma's leg crooked and her foot turned inward. The doctor told them Wilma needed a leg brace. "The doctor says you won't walk without that brace, Wilma," said her mother. "But I know you will." "I believe you, Mama," said Wilma. Look at all this tenacity, resilience, and faith in the midst of all these challenges that she endured. Twice a week, Wilma and her mother took a bus to a medical college 50 miles. That's 80.5 kilometers away. There, Wilma received physical therapy for her leg. Spending so much time trying to get well was tough on Wilma. She couldn't play with other children. Just thinking about the children. We had field day yesterday, just watching the children run. Like I said, playing soccer and sliding on the sliding board and just having a great time. Well, she couldn't participate in those type of sports. She couldn't play with other children. By the time she was 7 years old, what's that, around first grade, second, Wilma was fed up. But she was also determined. No more taking what comes. Enough is enough. What are you saying enough is enough to? Think about those obstacles that are in your life. Wilma imagined herself, come on, walking and running without her brace. Most importantly, Wilma followed her imagination with action. She did exercises, she took off her brace, and she practiced walking without it. "I'm going to be healthy just like the rest of them," she said to herself. Soon, Wilma could walk well enough to go to school. "Finally," she said, "a place I can be with other kids." I love it. Look at her family cheering her on. That's right. So it doesn't matter how young or how old you are. You need that type of tenacity, that type of inner strength. As she grew older, Wilma realized how difficult life was for most African Americans. She saw racial discrimination everywhere. Remember with Willie Mays, how they showed the different water fountains? Segregation meant that black people couldn't do the same things as white people. They had to use separate drinking fountains and bathrooms. They even had to sit at the back of buses. Wilma also noticed how hard her own mother, Blanche, worked as a maid and a cook. There's something not right about all this, Wilma thought. White folks got all the luxury and we black folks got the dirty work. Wilma became determined to do something other than serve white people. Yeah, that was a tough time. Remember, I think Willie Mays was born in, 1940. And, he played baseball in the 1950s, right in the heart, in the beginning of the civil rights movement. At age 9, Wilma took a huge step forward. One Sunday, Wilma's parents held open the church door for her as they always had. Wilma took off her brace outside. Look at this. Then she propped her crutches against the wall, opened the door, and walked inside. This reminded me, my mom used to tell me that there used to be a flashlight evangelist at her childhood church. And this woman would come in town and she would have a flashlight and she would shine it on people who were maimed, who were injured, who had debilitating conditions. And she said that she would see, after this woman would supposedly speak and heal people, she would be used, pairs of crutches would be hanging all over the sanctuary of the church. This reminds me of that. I don't remember knowing this about Wilma. So she took those crutches. Wilma limped down the aisle without the braces. People watched as she walked by. One woman even yelled out. Look at that. Wilma beamed, right? And kept on walking. Come on. Look at that determination. Look at the people so surprised. But look at her, focused. That's what I'm talking about. Look at this. By the time she was 12 years old, Wilma's brace was off for good. For years, she had watched other children play in the playground, just what I was talking about. She had studied girls playing basketball and memorized their moves. She was a genius. Now she was determined to be on the basketball team. She thought to herself, Wilma, tomorrow you're going to see what it feels like to play a little basketball. Ooh, this is just perfect. The start of summer vacation. Look, whatever you take up, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's golf, you're going to have that type of stick-to-itiveness. Maybe it's gardening, whatever. Maybe it's cleaning the house, catching up. Wilma signed up for the basketball team, but for the first few years, she didn't get much playing time. Coach C.C. Gray only put her in at the end of a game when her team was sure to win or sure to lose. But Wilma was determined. She practiced hard, sometimes for hours a day. Coach Gray jokingly called her Skeeter. You're little, you're fast, and you always get in my way, he said. That wasn't very nice. But I'm telling you, this young girl was so strong. Look at her family, look at the fans, look at her supporters. Before her fourth season, Wilma continued buzzing like a skeeter. Coach Gray, she said, if you put as much time on me as you do on some of these other girls, I'd be a star player on this team. Her persistence paid off. Right before the first game that year, Coach Gray put Wilma in as guard. Burt High School, Wilma's team hosted a tournament that season. During one game, Wilma scored 32 points. What? And Burt High had a new star, Wilma Rudolph. We're talking about the young lady who had scarlet fever, chicken pox, oh my goodness, pneumonia, polio, on and on. And she became a star player. No braces. Come on now. Wilma was a star basketball player, but her best talent was running. I love the feeling of freedom in running. When Ed Temple, the track coach at TSU, Tennessee State University, saw Wilma playing basketball, he was impressed. She was a small teenager, but she had amazing speed and focus. Coach Temple invited Wilma to join his sports training camp. There she trained with the university's women's track club, the Tiger Bells. TSU, yeah, I've been there. I used to live in Nashville. That's a historic college. We know Oprah is a graduate from there, and so many others. The Tiger Bells were already famous for winning Olympic medals in 1952. Wilma would add to their fame. While in high school, she ran with them in the 1956 Olympic Games. The USA's four-woman relay team was made up of Wilma and three other Tiger Bells. Together, the women earned a bronze medal in the relay race. Now that she had a taste of victory, Wilma was determined to do better. She wanted to be standing on the gold medal platform at the next Olympic Games. 4 years later, she achieved that goal. I'm telling you, it's so inspiring. And that's it. We know about let's see, there's a glossary. Polio is a virus that affects the nerves, especially those that control muscles. We know about, the other words. This was wonderful. Oh, let's read the afterword. Wilma's greatest accomplishment came at the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome. First was the 100-meter dash. No one could beat her blazing speed. Wilma ran away with her first Olympic gold medal. Yes! Next came the 200-meter dash. The crowd in the stadium knew of Wilma's recent win. Now they were rooting for her. Wilma, Wilma, Wilma. That reminds me of the team yesterday. One team was called Team Rainbow, Rainbow. And I think the other team was Purple, Purple. Yeah, it's just wonderful that she was able to play, enjoy life, and persist, work hard. Woo, there's some adult lessons here. Oh, Wilma also ran the last leg of the 400-meter relay race, and the U.S. team won. The Olympic crowd went wild. Wilma Rudolph was the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field in a single Olympics. Once unable to walk without crutches, come on now, please listen. Wilma was now the fastest woman in the world. She was also quite famous. Wilma retired from her track career in 1962. She became a teacher, a high school coach, a mother to 4 children, and even a fashion model. She died at age 54 of a brain tumor. Ooh, that is sobering. Wilma was an inspiration to thousands of athletes, especially young women. She taught young people everywhere that even when the odds seem to be against them, they can achieve great things. Woo! This helped me. This is wonderful. Here's some questions. What particular character traits did Wilma Rudolph exhibit as a young person, and how did these traits help her to accomplish her goals? Yeah, we know that she was so strong in the mind. She visualized success, and that helped her for the rest of her life. Did the adults in Wilma Rudolph's life try to help her become an active and independent person, or did they try to stop her from becoming an active, independent person? No, her parents were 100% in support. Now that coach at first, limited her to the end of the game, but he gave her a chance and she became the star. The author wrote, Wilma taught young people that even when the odds seem to be against them, they can achieve great things. Oh my goodness. What evidence. All those Olympic gold medals. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this book. And that's so funny. The author doesn't talk about himself. It was all about Wilma. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Weakland, or Mr. Strongland, and Mr. Daniel Duncan. You all did a marvelous job with this book. All right, so we have homework. What are we going to do even better? It might not be basketball, it might not be track running, but let's choose a few areas where we can perfect with persistence. Have a good evening.